G'day everyone. Welcome to the Monday night live stream. It is starting half an hour later. Time did escape me as I have been fairly busy these last couple of days. And of course, Big J is still feeling a little bit under the weather. Big J is still feeling a little sick. And unfortunately, that has meant that it is all on me these days. So look, it is what it is. I hope you guys haven't gotten sick of me just yet. And hope you guys are still enjoying the content, still enjoying the communications that we have. And I certainly, look, my season was done and dusted many weeks ago, but I can't not talk to you guys. And it's been a lot of good fun. And I really hope you guys have also been enjoying what has been a long season. Despite it being long, it's gone by so quickly. It is actually ridiculous. How the hell are we doing a round 22 review? It's like, where has the season gone? I remember waiting with anxious breath for the season to start, and all of a sudden, bang, here we are. And Carlton are freaking winning and beating everybody. What is going on in the universe? It is genuinely bonkers. The way I scored this week, let me just present my screen. It wasn't a superb week by any stretch of the imagination. However, we have managed to rise up in ranks by 550 spots yet again. Top 4% score with 23.85. It is what it is. I'm not expecting massive scores from here on out, especially after the Dacos injury and not having any cover for him. So having this in top 2%, I was hoping to stay in the top 1%. But look, the season's done anyway, and all the finals are basically well and truly underway. And if you're still in the finals, well, congratulations to you guys. Hope you having a terrific competition there. I had the VC on Stewart. I was fearful that Merritt was going to be tagged, and that's exactly what happened. So I thought, you know what? There's no point having the VC on Merritt if he's going to be tagged. I'll put the VC on Stewart. And I thought he'll do better than this. Seriously, 69 was atrocious, and part of the reason was he was actually playing on the ball for a number of minutes, too many minutes, let's just say. So it wasn't very good to see Stewart playing on the ball. I don't like it when they do that. I'd much rather have him be in the back line all the time as a +1. 72's dream team to 69 Supercoach. That just goes to show that it was one of those games where he was not clean, and he really wasn't. He had 4 clangers, not something we see often. Only 72% disposal efficiency. And that's part of the problem with him playing on the ball. So I don't like it when Chris Scott starts doing these ridiculous things. Bro, Tom Stewart is a half back. Leave him there. Don't muck around with him in the midfield, and he will continue to score just fine. Don't mess with his role, mate. So that's part of the reason why I went with VC on Stewart, and that unfortunately didn't work out. I ended up wasn't sure who to go as a captain. I couldn't trust anybody. Brayshaw could have been tagged. Petrarca was up against a tough midfield. Oliver was back. Bontempelli wasn't in super form either. I just had no idea who to go. So I went with Big Briggsy as my captain. And to be honest, at 115, I'd take that score. With such a shit week, I got to take the Briggs score. So, and that is how I ended up getting a 23.85. So look, I'm not complaining by any means. Sportsnet, how's it going, man? 23.68. Had to field Chester too, so I don't know if it's a good score. Well, look, 23.85 was a top 4% score. So look, a way for you to find out how your score, I suppose, is you can go to Supercoach data, and this is a website where you go to Supercoach AFL, and this is a really nifty website where obviously might not be as relevant now now that we're at the back end of the year in the final stretch. But you would come into Supercoach data, and then you can go to Ranking Live. And in Ranking Live, you can actually put in your team if you're in the top 2,000, and you'll be able to see what your rank is, and you'll see any rank changes that you've got there. So obviously, it's not automatic with the games as they go by, but this is a fairly decent way to check out. And you can even see like the ownership of players For example, obviously I've clicked something wrong here, but it looks very small all of a sudden. But this is a great website where you can come on and you can actually see what the ownership of players are and the player stats, and how many people own certain players in the top 1% and things like that. So look, it is a fairly useful website for next year. I think 2368 is a fairly decent score. Sportsnut, for many of us without cover on the back line. But there is hope. We might get Charlie Constable. I know. I'm probably naive to imagine and to dream of a potential return for Constable. But look, one can only hope. What can I say? Harry, how's it going? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Season's pretty much done, as is mine. Libba gone next week. No cover, and he's a pod in every matchup. So, mate, season. Welcome aboard, Harry. Welcome aboard. The season has been over for quite some time for me. It's about time someone else joined me. Welcome aboard. At least now we can just watch the games without having to worry about the points, how certain players are doing. You can just watch the game for what it is, the game. So it's all right, Harry. Look forward to next year. Causa, how's it going, man? Hopefully Walsh and Rookie on my bench comes back so I don't have a donut this week. Look, there's a fair chance. There is a fair chance that Walsh actually comes up this week. So from what I could hear in terms of what I read online, he wasn't actually far off playing this week against Melbourne. So I think he's not too far away from actually from playing this coming week. Obviously, there was some concern about Doherty, but John Ralph reported that it's likely he's going to play next week. So I don't know who else have got Doherty. If anyone's worried about that, crazy Curtis Taylor tagging Merritt for his score. Yeah, look, Curtis Taylor. It's a really interesting use of Curtis Taylor. But look, Zach Merritt 96. Coming off a tag is not something that we've seen in previous years. So Zach Merritt has shown that even whilst copping a tag is still capable of punching out some fairly okay numbers by moving forward into the forward line, having some impact there. His tackling pressure is also elite as the captain of our great football club. So look, Zach Merritt is one that I'm probably going to start next year, to be honest. He's shown that he has been very consistent. Even now, he's raising his floor whilst copping a tag, and he's had a great year to date. I mean, how many shitters has he actually had? A 69, in where we were dead set, comprehensively destroyed from start to finish. And apart from that, his next lowest score is 88 in round 3. So that's a really good showing by Zach Merritt. He's shown that in previous years he's been a post-buy merchant, but this year as the captain, he's shown that he is ready to start the season hotter than previous years. So I'm keen for Mr. Zach Merritt. Globes, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, brother. The team is in down the shitter. Well, look, mate, there's only one way to go, and that's up. Onward to next year, Globes. It's onward to the next thing. The world goes round. It is what it is. Jen, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Merritt will definitely be on my team next year. Yes, he is a superstar one, Zachy Merritt. He's the ultimate professional, without a doubt, our best player, our leader, and he does so much on both sides of the ball, even when he's tagged, and we can just pull up here on Fan Footy, Essendon versus North Melbourne, and you look at, where is he? When we look at Zach Merritt, under lock and key, however, he still had the 9 tackles to go with 9 contested, and part of the reason why Zach Merritt is such a great player is that he doesn't need too much of the ball to score points because he is such a beautiful ball user. He's a great kick, our best kick, and he still went at 85% efficiency. So Zach Merritt is, without a doubt, he's up there. He is up there in terms of the greats of Essendon, and he's still got quite a bit of football to go. So yes, Zach Merritt should be in each of our sides. Globes, let's talk about locks for next season. Well, we can certainly go through them. Absolutely, Globes, we can go through them. So we'll just go game by game in terms of who we've liked the look of. Look, Josh Dacos has continued to show that he's an absolute superstar. Now, what Josh Dacos will be priced at next year is going to be a really interesting question, because he has pulled up. He's been touted as a potential pod this year even. So he's shown that he's been doing sensational things. I'm not willing to spend around this point for a winger. That's just not how we roll. Wingers are too inconsistent with their role. You never know which side's going to be on. So look, I probably won't go Josh Dacos, despite how good he's been during the year. It's just though inconsistent. You could get 75s, 67, 64. But look, mostly it's been all right. Mostly it's been all right. Such is the caliber of this guy. He is such an incredible footballer. It's just a shame that he plays a wing role, and he needs to play it. He needs to play it for his team. They are in great need of him. Sportsnut's asking the question: will Jai Newcombe be cheap next year? If so, he could be a okay pick, but he might be too inconsistent though. Look, I'm not sure if he will still be inconsistent. It'll be another preseason under his belt. He will be really good, obviously, because he's a contested ball player, and that is what we love to see. He's an in and under player, and he's certainly raised his floor this year. He has had some of the occasional stinker, but you can see that he's hitting the ton a lot more than previous years. He's now able actually to run out the season better as well. So you look at him now. That's a 174 in round 22. That's really impressive. So I'm really excited to see how he goes in the preseason. If he doesn't have an interrupted preseason, then this genuinely could be a shout out for a breakout option next year. Obviously, the question is how many players are going to have only mid status, because now the competition for midfield spots will be very tight next year. A lot of these mids that we see here are going to be, these forwards are going to be mid-onlys. So the problem with that is it's going to really dilute the options available in the midfield. There's going to be heaps of options, and the best team are going to have the best ones. So it becomes really important to nail these selections, I think. Whereas when the forward line, it's going to be really straightforward. The best ones are the ones you probably start with, and you never change for the rest of the year. But I like Jai Newcombe. I'm going to keep close tabs on him over the preseason. He's showing that he's running out the season good, and he's got a Supercoach friendly game. Love and Jai. He could be in my team. Jen Dacos will be in my side next. Okay, well, there you go. Look, fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed. Jai Newcombe will be around 550k next year. Well, around 550k, that's not too bad. He was sensational for all of us who picked him last year. I think most people had picked him last year. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if people jump on him, because the guy is genuinely a superstar. He could be worth that 550k price point. Harry, Joe, do you have any news on Constable, Merritt, Seamus, and Roberts for this week? Any of them going to play? Look, I can tell you that Charlie Constable had a ripping game in the VFL. He had like 37 odd disposals and things like that. So, look, Constable, if he's not an emergency this week, then you know the guy's just straight up effed. Like, if Constable doesn't get it this week, then he is in massive trouble. The other players, I'm not too certain about, to be completely honest with you. I'm not too certain about. I think Roberts could very well play this week. Seamus Mitchell, it's not because of an injury that he's out. He's just not in their best 22. And I think Marriage probably misses another one, to be honest. But fingers crossed that he comes in. What does this have to say? This has him to be announced. So look, the Eagles have to be conservative with their players. They have had so many re-injuries during the year, and the season's done. They're going to finish last. They might as well just keep them healthy so that they can hit the preseason in good form. There's nothing worse than having delayed preseasons, to be honest. Newcombe is my guy. I picked him last year as a cheaper. Yeah, Globes, he was sensational for us last year. He was one of the best mid-season draft picks, mid-season picks. He is such a freak in nature. Love Newcombe. He will certainly be in all of our sides at some point or another. in the future, this man will be in our teams. If Milliken or Constable don't play, I am getting a donut. So that's pretty rough. I think Constable could play. I think he could play. I'm telling you, he had a ripping game, and there's a chance. There's a chance. It's not zero. Marriage was not on the injury list as he did his injury Wednesday or Thursday. All right. So if he's not on the injury list, then he could possibly play. But I could have sworn I read somewhere, as Harry says, I could have sworn I read somewhere that he had a calf injury. So, look, fingers crossed that Marriage can come good. But, I mean, we can probably look it up now, actually. Would the West Coast Eagles have updated their website? Let's see. Oh, funny thing, guys. We were doing the stream last night, and we're looking at the AFL, and we're looking at the goal from Petrarca or the behind, and we're trying to see whether or not it's been touched. That stream's been taken down. The AFL themselves have blocked that video and taken it down, even though it is public. It is a public website, free to everybody to come and watch it. And we were done. It was taken down. That stream was no longer on our channel. The AFL got our stream removed last night because we showed the footage from the website. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Couldn't believe it. When Big J sent me the email this morning that it's been taken down by the AFL. Look, guys, we're making a wave. We're making a wave. The AFL knows who we are now. All right. What are we looking for? We're looking for Bryce, Virgil, Cully, Edwards, Jimby, Hearn, Shade, Shui, True. There. Well, he's not there. He's not here. So Marriage is not listed on the injury list, which is pretty good. So fingers crossed he can play this week. Yeah. So for those of you guys who are desperate for Marriage to play, look, he is not on the injury list. However, this was updated on the 8th of August. I don't know what that means, whether or not he's likely to play. If he was off the injury list on Tuesday, I don't know why he didn't play as a result this week. So there's that. You won't have any cover for Dacos. A lot of people don't have cover for Dacos, Jen. You're not the only one, believe me. Bont C this week should go massive. Well, hey AFL, I'm going onto your website again. Does that mean are we gonna get struck? Are we gonna get struck down by your might? Yeah, Bont could go really big. The problem though is Libba is very likely to miss this week. I think Libba is guaranteed to miss this week. So as a result, all the attention will probably be on Bontempelli. So I think he's going to be a prime target for them. So look, if you've got English, I think English is the C this week for sure. Joe, the AFL need the VAR system for goal review. The EPL have the best review system. That they do. They absolutely do. The thing is, though, Harry, they've got goalposts that actually have an upright. They've got that horizontal bar that looks down on the goal line. We don't have that. Our goalposts are just simply up in the air, and you can kick it really high and straight. So, I don't know how they're going to have to do it. They're going to really need to invest in some sort of super duper technology. But definitely what we've currently got. Look, it's better than what we've had previously, but it's still not good enough because we keep ending up with similar situations and controversy like what we've had over the weekend. Yeah, Jen, there we go. English will go good. Yeah, absolutely. And again, if for all of your captaincy needs and you don't know which way to lean, what are some possible options for captaincy, we go on over to our good friend Mort's website there at DFS Australia. Scroll down here to defense versus position. I like to look at the last 5 because that tends to be the more relevant of the selections. And you're looking for something in the green boxes. You're looking for green boxes, which is ideal and positive for player scoring. And when we look at the ruck and we go to the West Coast Eagles, they suck against ruckmen. So English is very likely to go banana against the Eagles, and they are pretty good at negating inside mids. So, yeah, if you've got English, he is 100% the go, as he probably should be every single week, the bastard. I wish I had him. Um, Globes. It'll be interesting to see how people set up their starting structures next year with the lack of forward premiums and a heap of value with players getting injured. Yes, for sure. I'm probably going to be going down the set and forget route, to be honest, Global. I think I'm just going to pick the top 6 options who I think are going to be the top 6 forwards. Just set and forget, not have to worry about them. And I think we're going to be playing a lot more guns and rookies next year, Globes. I'm not sure there's going to be as many mid-pricer options as we've had this year. I think guns and rookies is probably going to be the strategy, I think, next year. That's the way I'm more likely to lean. I played a bit more mid-price madness this year, and it really burnt me. It's not PTSD, don't get me wrong, but I just think the number of forward premiums that we're going to have to start the year just means that all of these mid-pricer options are just not going to be worth it. So I'm probably going to go guns and rookies, Globes, and that will probably be I think will hold me in good stead. So back to the Collingwood Geelong game. Pendle's ages like a fine wine. He's still a gun. Tom Mitchell, he's come back. We were worried that he was going to miss some more games, but he came in and did his job. 16 contested possessions, if you don't mind. Isaac Quaynor continues to do good things off halfback. He even pushed really high, and I noticed that was a lot of what Collingwood were doing. They were very aggressive in their defending, and they even had Quaynor push up forward. And Brett Maynard had a shot on goal as well, and he just missed. Where's Brendan Maynard? There you go. Yeah, he had a behind. So even all their defenders were being very aggressive with their positioning. Could be good for Supercoach scoring, to be honest. Pat Lip, they've missed him. He's a great link-up player. Taylor Adams is a great mature senior leader for him. Brody Majek, Czechoslovakia, 5 goals, did very well. Dan McStay, I thought he did fairly well, McShark. Going up the ground, taking some really important marks. It was a great lead-up option for him. And he looks to be building a nice relationship and partnership with Mr. Majek. Bobby Hill, the guy is just lightning. He is so electric. And Darcy Cameron, 43 hitouts for only 67. This felt like an absolute robbery because the impact that this guy had on the game was unreal. He was so good, very influential. He had 5 tackles. He's the one who lifted in like the second half to really get the ball moving Collingwood's way. And for him, when we were checking the scores live, I was like, what the hell? It's a robbery. Then you look, 4 clangers and 33% disposal efficiency. Yeah, nah, that ain't gonna get you any good scores this week. So sorry, Darcy Cameron, you let people down. Jordan De Goey, he was limping a bit. Noble was limping a bit. And he still had 20 touches. And again, though, its low disposal efficiency really held him back. Only scored the 60 points, which was very rough. And Darcy Moore with the hammy. So it gives Essendon a chance in round 24 for 2 meter Peter to clunk some marks. All right, let's overread here. Globes, I found it hard to even think of 6 premier forwards. I'm not too confident in going strong in the forward line. Look, I almost went full primo in the forward line this year. I almost did it, and to be honest, I don't think I would have been burnt. I think a lot of those top forwards who are available at the start of the year are still there. When we go to filter and we go to the forward line, Zach Butters was available. Goulden was available. Taranto available. Rosie available. Dunkley available. I don't think McRae was available. Cogs was available. Sheezel was available. As you can see, all the top forwards were all available at the start of the year. All of them. So if you went big in the forward line, if you actually started all of these guys, and they were all cheaper. They were all cheaper than right now. So all of these guys, but even Taranto, literally every single player here barring Dunkley, was cheaper at the start of the year, and they are the top of their line. So it depends. It depends. It's possible to go all out aggressive Globes. We'll have to look and see what the DPP is like for next year. Causa, looks like it's best if VC Stewart into C English this week. Yeah. That's what it looks like, because we're going back to our good friend here, DFS Australia, and Geelong are playing against St Kilda, and St Kilda give up a lot of points to defenders, especially the intercept defender. So Stewart should be really good as a VC option. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be VCing Stewart this week. He's going to be on the radar. Who else gives up a lot of points apart from the Eagles to the Rucks? Essendon give up a lot of points to key forwards and general forwards and inside mids. So Essendon's playing against the Giants. We're pretty good against Ruckman. All right, so don't go Briggs. Cogs could be an option, but wouldn't go there. Tom Green could be an option, but maybe not. Gold Coast suck against wingers. Gold Coast. Who Gold Coast play again? Gold Coast are playing against Carlton. All right, I'm not sure how many Carlton wingers we've got. They're really good against inside mids. They suck against forwards. Geelong are bad against forwards. And Geelong were playing against St Kilda. The Ruck is basically a parody. But yeah, it looks Richmond against defenders. Who's Richmond playing? Richmond against North. Sheasel's an option, guys. Sheasel is an option. Against the Tigers, Sheasel is an option. So there you go. Sheasel into Stewart, perhaps. Sheasel into Stewart. For those of us who don't have English, I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I think I'm going to be doing Sheasel into Stewart. As crazy as it sounds, I just don't have English. Laird and Dawson against Sydney. Well, when you look at the Swans, I mean, they give up points to mids and general forwards, but that general forward is not what Laird and Dawson is. So only a slight advantage. The Dogs against the Eagles, inside mids actually struggle against West Coast, which is fairly interesting. Who else do we have that's that are gun premiums that people own in their sides? Sicily, for those of you guys that have Sicily playing against Melbourne are not too bad against defenders. So look, it's a tough one. I'm probably doing Sheasel into Stewart. For those of you that got English, easiest selection of your life. Who's McGuinness tagging this week? McGuinness will probably go to Tracker. If not Tracker, then it could be a Langdon. I know McGuinness likes to tag runners, and that's what Sam Mitchell did last time. When you guys played against Melbourne, you tagged their runners, you tagged their winger, and it actually worked a treat. So McGuinness could be tagging one of them. One will come in for Darcy Moore. Did Billy Frampton come in last week? If it was Billy Frampton and in last week for you guys. If not, then he's just a perfect inclusion. Let's see. I want lineups. Yeah, you did play Billy Frampton. So I don't know who else you guys have in the back line as depth, unless how long in that game did Jeremy Howe play in the forward line? Because Jeremy Howe might just simply go back to the back line and continue to play in defense. If we go to AFL DPS, we'll go to AFL. We'll go to player summary, Supercoach. Let's see. Jeremy Howe. How much forward time did he play on the weekend? Oh, he played a lot of forward time. He played almost exclusively forward. Well, there you go, Jen. Jeremy Howe will be back in defence, and you'll probably bring in someone like an Ash Johnson to play forward. I would imagine. I think would probably be. There you go. I should read the comments more. Yes, he did. He played the whole game in the forward line. Well, there you go. So Jeremy Howe will go back, as Globe said here. Jeremy Howe will go back, and I think you're going to recall Ash Johnson probably to play key forward in his position. So there we go. Fly, Craig McRae. Don't worry, bro. We got your job. We got your job covered. We know exactly how to coach. Next year, my man. Yeah, I know. Cameron got absolutely destroyed. He got destroyed. 33% disposal efficiency, man. That is really rough. But still, I thought his impact on the game was a lot more than only 67. That's a yikes. Going Chisel into English. Fair enough, Jan. That's perfectly acceptable. Sam Walsh back this week. I think he could very well be back. I think he very well could be back, Globes. There were some Carlton supporters that I know talking about he might have been back even this week. Last week. So he could very well be back in this week. We'll keep an eye on that. Grundy should get dropped. I agree. They're just no good. But at the same time, Simon Goodwin, I don't think, used them properly. Simon Goodwin admitted after the game that he used them in the ruck too much and didn't play him forward. So let's go to Blues. Yeah, he's admitted that he probably should have played Grundy more forward, but he started to play on the ruck and then in the ruck a lot. So I don't know if they're going to change something up because they're paying this guy way too much money to have him be stuck in the VFL. I think Parrish is gone, brother. 2 first runners coming our way. Man, that last game against North Melbourne, though, just goes to show how important he is to us. He is so important for us. He was. I know they've given the start to Nick Martin, but piss off. Best on ground by a mile was Darcy Parish. And I don't even give a shit what anyone on fan footy or big footy or any sort of footy has to say. Darcy Parish was best on ground, and without him, we lose. Plain and simple. He was the difference for us, and my word. Look, we better get if he is gone, we better get 2 first rounders because he genuinely is one of the best mids in the comp. It's. I really hope he stays. I really hope so. Hunter could be taken by McInnes. That he could. He's had a good year, Lockie Hunter. He's not given the respect he deserves. He's an experienced, wily player who's able to find those pockets of space, and he's a really good ball user. So very well could be tagged. Well, good observation, Causa. Ash Johnson won't come in. He did hardly anything in the VFL. So, look, it's not necessarily about just simply whether or not he's done anything in the VFL. I think a lot of it has to come in for also the structure and what it means for your team structure. I think that's fairly important. You need to hold, what's his face? You need to hold Harris Andrews accountable. You can't just let Harris Andrews go about doing his own thing. You need to make sure that you can keep him busy, keep him occupied, and you never know. You might play Ash Johnson as that defensive forward to play on Harris Andrews to try and take away his intercept marking ability. And because really outside of Harris Andrews, the back line for Brisbane is just okay. It's just serviceable. It's not shit, but it's not amazing. So if you can keep Harris Andrews, keep him tangled up in a guy like Ash Johnson, then look, you never know. It could go a long way to having you guys beat the Lions. Causa, Paris was best on ground, was there live for sure. He was the game changer. Thank you, Causa, for backing me up. I think Steele will be back this week. Bro, Steele played last week already. What do you mean? He played in a very comfortable win. And what did he do? What did he do? Where is he? Where's Steele? There he is. 81 with 23 touches, 6 marks, 5 tackles. This is the new Steele. This is Jack Steele now. I am not touching this guy with a 10-foot barge pole next year. Jack Steele, for me, is done. And how old is Jack Steele? 27? He's going to be 28 next year. And for me, that is too old. Goodbye. Never. Never again. See you later, Steele. So will probably come in. Fair enough. Global, maybe North take Parish. Look, I don't want it. Look, I don't think they would get another inside mid Globes. I think they've already built a fairly good midfield in and of itself. They've got oh, you meant side bottom. Side bottom is what Jenny's talking about. I meant side bottom. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Side bottom is good. He's a good player, very mature, very clever. But look, they've got a fairly decent. They've got a fairly decent midfield over there, Global at North Melbourne. They've got obviously. When we just flick them open again, they've got LDU, who's a gun. Obviously, Ben Cunnington's going to be gone. Georgie Wardlaw is going to be a freak. Jai Simpkin, tough in and under player as well. Taron Thomas has some bursts through there. They've obviously got Will Phillips who can play through there. They're trying to develop as well. I think they've got some fairly decent mids already. I'm not sure if they want to pay up and give us 2 first-rounders. They're still in the rebuild stage. Whereas Darcy Parish is... How old's Darcy Parish again? He's 26. You know, he's not a spring chicken anymore. Darcy Parish would want to go to somewhere. If he's going, Darcy Parish will want to go to somewhere that is actually in the window to challenge. He wants to be... He's been at a club that struggled for many years. If Darcy Parish is to go, it's going to go to somewhere good. He's not going to go and after spending all that time at a developing Essendon just to go to a developing North Melbourne. It just doesn't make sense to me. If he's going to go anywhere, it's probably Geelong, to be honest, if it's anywhere. He's from Geelong, and Geelong are a good team. So if he is to go anywhere, then it's probably to the Cats, unfortunately. Yeah, there you go. Who takes Parish? The Cats. That's what I said. And Tone, Parish to Geelong. Should come to Collingwood, but won't happen. Look, I don't think you guys have the salary cap to afford people. You won't even have the salary cap to afford Ben Mackay, let alone Darcy Parish. So, and I said that as well. Yeah, you guys don't need Parish. Yeah, absolutely. Paddy McCarter and Nick Nat retiring is sad. I hear Sports Nut, but a retirement for both of these players was always going to be on the cards. Paddy McCartan, you can't keep playing with 10 concussions. You just can't. Not in this day and age, not with all these lawsuits, not with this increased awareness about mental health and things like that. There was simply no way that Paddy McCartan was going to continue. The writing was on the wall for a long time. Heck, even when he came back, people were concerned about his safety right from the get-go. Nick Nat, look, he is probably one of the most dynamic players I've ever seen play the game. His impact on the game when he's in there, yes, he's on the ground for so few minutes. But when he is on the ground, he makes shit happen. It is unbelievable what Nick Nat could do on a footy field. So Nick Nat is someone that it's a shame. It really is a shame that his body let him down because he was such an exciting player. Those clearances, those leaps for centre bounces, tapping it down, taking it out himself, and would fly for screamers. Yeah, absolutely. Nick Nat was one of the biggest joys to watch on the footy field. And look, wish him both of them all the best in the next chapter of their lives. I personally have a very big soft spot for Paddy McCartan. I held him all year last year. I never traded out Paddy McCartan. He was in my team from start to finish. I kept him as cover for me last year, and he was sensational. So I do have a soft spot for Paddy McCartan. Obviously, Nick Nat, I have tremendous respect for. So best of luck to both of those two gentlemen. Over on the Bombers side of the ledger, obviously Nick Martin was really good. Yes, 100%. Nick Nat was amazing to watch. He would just... It's insane. Global, who would you think about starting next year from these two teams? Well, I've told you about Zach Merritt for sure. If we get Mackay, Globes, if we get Ben Mackay to our team, then all of a sudden Mason, Redmond, and Ridley start to look like really appealing propositions, because they're both gonna be really cheap for their price. Let me actually take out the filter, and when I go to Mason Redmond has averaged 92.1 for the year, and then when you add to the fact that we're going to have, Ben Mackay, hopefully, take the big man, and then obviously Mason can run past and receive. We're not going to want Mackay to be the one distributing off halfback. That's not what we want. Mackay is going to be there as a lockdown, just handling the big boys, and then allowing both Redmond and Ridley to do their thing. Jordan Ridley, I think, is going to be the biggest beneficiary, because he's not going to be playing any accountable defense. It's going to be Mackay, BZT, and he will be the extra, just simply floating across the +1. He's gonna be sensational. He's gonna be taking intercept marking galore next year for Jordan Ridley. So yeah, Ridley and Redmond are both going to be really good for us. I'm probably going to start Sheasel next year as well. I think I'm going to have Sheasel in my team, because Zeebel's gone and Aaron Hall is gone as well. So that means that a lot of that running off halfback for North Melbourne is going to be gone. So I think Harry Sheasel is still going to be a terrific option next year. So I'm probably going to have Sheasel. Yes, Hind is a weapon. You are absolutely right, Global. I love Hind, and I love that he has the cojones to take them tough kicks, the courageous kicks. Yes, they don't always come up good, but I'm really happy with him. And look, you never know. He could end up just being simply a super sub for us, unfortunately. Tone Sheasel's on my team for the next 10 years. Yeah, Tone Sheasel is bellissimo. He is such a gun. He ran rings around us on the weekend. So Sheasel is absolutely a very fine shot next year. LDU has proven that he is someone who is going to be a gun, an absolute gun, if he's not a gun already. So look, LDU, depending on his price next year, could be a fair shout. Obviously, Ben Cunnington has retired, and so that's one less person in the midfield that he has to worry about. Obviously, there's going to be the rise of George Wardlaw. 87 points for Wardlaw is sensational. Cherry, I probably won't, because I've heard on the grapevine that Essendon have actually reached out to Goldie, to Big Goldstein, and have offered him a 2-year contract. So I think Goldstein wants to stay at North Melbourne, and us offering that 2-year contract probably going to force North Melbourne to sign him on for an extra year on a rolling contract. So I think Goldie will still be around eating into Cherry's points global. So I probably won't go Cherry next year. Maybe the year after, perhaps. So that's just sort of the way I'm thinking. Georgie Wardlaw could be a sensational option next year as well. So just keep an eye on his preseason. Keep an eye on it. Make sure there's no interruptions. As a North supporter, can't not go without LDU. Look, I don't barrack for North, and I'll have LDU next year as well, Causa. Don't you worry about that. For us, on the flip side, Zach Merritt for sure, Redmond for sure, Hind perhaps. Hobbs does all right things. He just gets pinged for free kicks every now and then, which I think the umpires just genuinely hate Hobbsy. But he is coming on so well. 29 disposals, 6 marks, 6 tackles, 10 contested possessions, 9 clangers, if you don't mind. 9 clangers for Ben Hobbs. Look, I love Hobbsy. Oh, there you go. I'm talking about him just as you ask about him, Globes. Look, I love Hobbsy to death. I think he's going to be an absolute superstar. Don't forget, Caldwell is not playing, right? There's no Jai Caldwell in the team right now. There's no Setterfield in the team right now. There's no Stringer in the team right now. This is probably the most ideal situation for Hobbs, that he's playing so much. He's getting so much midfield time. And I think that's got a lot to do with the personnel that we have missing. So don't forget, we've still got those players to come back into the side. And what does that mean for Hobbs? Probably means more midfield rotations, right? More people to run to the midfield. Probably means more half forward for Hobbs. So I probably won't go Hobbsy. And you can tell that we have a lot of players missing because we even had Elijah Sardis play quite a lot on the ball in this game. And he was sensational. He had 23 touches of his own. So, look, I probably won't go Hobbs just for the simple fact that we've got so many mouths to feed, a lot of cooks, a lot of chefs in that midfield kitchen. A lot revolves around what this man does. Does Parrish stay or does he go? Obviously, this is the big indicator. If Parrish goes, then obviously there's a lot of midfield time that opens up for these players. Oh, don't forget even Shield is out. Don't forget Dylan Shield. So, like, we've got so many players out from that midfield. If Parrish leaves, oh boy, it changes a lot for us. And I wouldn't touch anybody else from these two teams, to be completely honest with you. We then come to the Swans and the Suns. Look, Tuke Miller should be good value next year. I think Tuke Miller would be certainly very cheap coming into next year. So Shield is cooked. Look, he's certainly been hampered by injury. He had a very decent start to the year, and unfortunately, injury came and completely derailed his season tone. Look, he's a gun. He was, I think, the number one clearance player in the competition in the back half of last year. He had a sensational run. Shield is very talented. He's an absolute professional, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back next year in decent form. How old is Dylan Shield? Dylan Shield is 30 years old, so it's not like he's completely cooked. I think he's still got another year in him. He could do well. Obviously, yeah, I know you prefer GWS Shield, but he was playing in a stacked midfield where he was playing the role that suits him best, and that is the exploding away from stoppages. It's not him, the one in and under, winning the ball. He had a lot of gun mids at GWS that were feeding the ball to him, and that's where he was able to shine. And I think that's what this team is starting to do. We're starting to, obviously we've got Parrish, we've got Hobbsy, we brought across Setterfield. We're hoping to get some big-bodied mids to then free up Shield. So look, Shield, he could come good next year. He could. Tuki is too selfless and is happy to play a tagging job, so no thanks. Look, it's perfectly fine. Absolutely. Who knows though? What that happens if that happens under Dimmer Hardwick next year at Global. Damien Hardwick is notorious for not tagging. So if Damien Hardwick is Gold Coast's coach next year, don't worry, bro. Tuke Miller is not tagging anyone. So keep an eye on that space. If Damien Hardwick is the coach of the Suns next year, which we all think he is. So that's why I'm still a fan of Tuke Miller going into next year. I'm not the only one. Global, even Tone. No Tuke for me. Didn't fare well this season. Look, he was good for me last year. Just because you have one mishap in one given year doesn't mean he's going to be doomed forever. So, look, if you guys don't pick him, better for me. Let him be a pod. Let him be a pod for me, guys. I appreciate you. I really do. Who else? Who else could be really good? Noah Anderson, another preseason into Noah. He's had a really decent year. I don't know if Sam Flanders continues to have that role with the new coach. Maybe, maybe not. That's something to keep an eye on. Not really much else, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, there's Matt Rao, who's a contested beast again. Keep an eye on his preseason. Make sure that he's doing all right. But Matt Rao will have games where he just falls off a cliff, doesn't he? Like, it's not like he's super consistent at this. 119, 94, 77, 51. 85, 87, 92, 87, 98, 75, 80. Yeah, probably might. I won't go Matt Rowell next year. Nah, no Rowley either. Who else? Yeah, not really much else from the Gold Coast Suns, to be completely honest with you. They're going to have good rookies, though, the Suns next year. So pay up for their rookies. They're going to have really good rookies. Meanwhile, for the Swans, anyone that I want, Chad Warner could be an option. I really want Goulden next year, but I think he might just be mid only, though, which sucks. Other than that, probably no one else. For Brisbane and the Crom, Rory Laird I probably won't have next year. I think Rory Laird will be a bit old. 30 years old. Rory Laird could be... Yeah, bro. Constables. he is D1 next year. Charlie Constable's D1 next year. Might not go Laird next year. I don't know if I will or not. Hinge is pretty good. What's Hinge going to be priced at? What's Hinge? Again, though, probably not. Halfback, 514K. Probably not. I want someone who's guaranteed to be top of their line with that sort of price. Yeah, not really too much. Not really too much on offer here for Adelaide in terms of having them next year. Meanwhile, for Brisbane, Neil, I probably won't go Neil. Same as you, Tone. No Neil and no Cox for me anymore. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think I agree with you absolutely. I won't go Neil next. I mean, how old is going to be Lockie Neal? Lockie Neal is 30 already. Yeah, no, I won't go Neil. No Neil for me next year. I really hope they give more mid-time to Zach Bailey. I think Zach Bailey is too good. I'd love for us to chuck some money to get Zach Bailey across to our team. We'll use him, right? Bro, Dunks, if he's a mid-only, it calls into question, do you even start this guy? Depends on his price, I guess. But he's had some pretty poor weeks recently. What's his 3-round average at? 90. It's going to be an interesting call. I mean, he's normally a very consistent performer, as you can see. I don't know what's happened these last 2 weeks. It's weird. Going to have to gather some more intel on this before I make a call on Dunkley. Because he's come back from injury. He's got a 115, a 133, and then all of a sudden he's dropped to 77 and 62. Yeah, I hear that he may still be carrying an injury. But it's weird that he would go 115 and 133 in back-to-back weeks before just suddenly collapsing to a 135 in 2 weeks. So what's interesting? I rate Dunkley so highly. I'd love to see how he ends this season off. I really do. For this price, it's still pretty good though. I still might start Dunkley next year. Ashcroft's a gun. Probably won't start Ashcroft though next year. I'll probably want to see a bit more. But yeah, I wouldn't really go anyone else. Probably wouldn't go anybody else from Brisbane, to be honest. Brisbane are underperforming. That they have. So have a look at their last 2 weeks. Brisbane's last 2 weeks were a very narrow win against Adelaide at home. And last week, a very narrow win against Freo. So maybe his output is the reason why Brisbane barely got over the line. They've had 2 very close wins in those 2 games where Dunkley's been shit. Maybe he got tagged. Let us find out. So in this game, Adelaide versus the Lions, where's Dunkley? Nah, there's no lock and key symbol. He went head-to-head with Laird, just 2 kicks before halftime, 16 touches with 12 by hand, also 7 tackles and 2 marks. So no mention here of a tag against Adelaide. What happened last week? Brisbane against Fremantle. Where's Dunkley? Yin and Yang. Head-to-head with Sarong. Barely touched it before halftime, but lifted in quarter 3. So again, a similar story. He went head-to-head with Laird last week, got beat, and then went head-to-head with Sarong and got beat. So there's clearly something wrong with Dunkley. Maybe he is carrying an injury, but is it a coincidence that this happens to be right when, as you mentioned, Tone, right after Ashcroft went out, all of a sudden, that midfield mix is in disarray. Now, if you watch Fancast, if you sub to Fancast, I've said on Fancast that Ashcroft is more important to Brisbane than Hugh McCluggage is. And then we saw this result on the weekend, and it just screams that Ashcroft really is a big out for them in that midfield. He just gives them that balance, that inside-outside, which is remarkable for a first-year player for him to have that sort of impact on his team. It's quite remarkable. Doesn't like playing against little midfield bulls. Seems like it. He lost to Sarong and lost to Laird. Who do they play this week? Gobes, let's have a look. This week, the Brisbane. Are there any little inside midfield bulls for Collingwood? Probably not. This could be a good game. Plus, they're playing at Marvel Stadium. So I think this could be the game where we see a Dunkley bounce back. You heard it here first. This will be the Dunkley bounce back game. And then all of our concerns will be put to rest. He'll be fine. I can see it coming. And then in the last round, at the Gabba against the Saints, he could struggle, which is crazy. I don't want to pick someone who could have games where he just goes to shit. I don't like that. All right, we come to Carlton and Melbourne. Clayton Oliver, 100 million, thousand, billion, gazillion %. He is in my team. Clayton Oliver next year for sure. If Clayton Oliver is not in my starting team next year, I'm possessed. I am not myself. Call the priest, get the holy water. Clayton Oliver is in my team next year for sure. This guy, this is his first game back in over 2 months. 13 tackles, 27 disposals, 14 contested possessions, 10 clearances in his first game back in over 2 months. This man is a legend. Absolute legend. Clayton Oliver, welcome to my team next year for sure. I think I might start Petrarca next year as well. I think Petrarca has shown that this is the year where he has finally elevated his floor. No shit games from Petrarca this year. None. No shit Petrarca. Look at Petrarca. He's had no shit games. Dead set, 0. 97, 97. All over 100, 95. There you go. No shit games for Petrarca. His worst game was a 95 all year. Love it. Love it. So Petrarca won't be dropping in price as much next year because they're able to maintain good scoring. So Cristiano in the team next year. Global, the pig of all pigs, bro. He's King Pig He's Emperor Pig. Emperig. Love Globe. Love him, Globes. He's a star, Clayton Oliver. It's probably just them two. If Grundy's gone, then obviously a lot of people are going to be really tempted to go with Big Maxi Gorn in the ruck. But and it makes sense. Max Gorn without him, without Grundy's a freak, right? He's 31 now. He'll be 32 this year. So he'll be 33 next year. I don't know if I want to do that. It's too old for me. Big season for Trent Rivers. He has been a great year for Trent Rivers. Let's actually pull up his scoring. He's gone up 122k this year. That is phenomenal. Having said that, there's too many bad scores for my liking. Tone, not in my team. Grundy's nearly a lock if he gets traded. Well, if he goes to Port, like Port really want him. Heck, Port wanted him before he even came to Melbourne. Ken Hinkley wanted him, and he's like, "Nah, I want to stay in Melbourne. I don't want to go interstate." This guy is 300, sub 400k. He's sub 400k. This man. Like, look at his past. This is just last year. Year before. Like, he's a great player. He's a great player. How old is Grundy next year? How old is Brody Grundy next year? He'll be 30 next year. That's fine for a ruckman. So, yeah. Grundy, if he moves next year, for sure. It's very hard to go past that value. It is. Sean Darcy will not be leaving Fremantle, so you can forget about locking in Jackson. Sean Darcy will still be in Fremantle. Don't worry about it. You got the first word here. He's not going anywhere. He's staying. Everyone's on the same page. From the Carlton side of the ledger, look, George Hewitt would have been a very sneaky, nice selection, but the way he's playing, he's just going to keep rocketing up in price before the end of the season. I was so happy to get him when I did, because now his break even's -3, and he's just on the upward. His projected price come into the year is going to be just shy of 500,000. So, look, George Hewitt is a gun. I really hope it doesn't go up in price too much. He could be a sneaky mid-price option. Paddy Cripps, look, I won't go there. Doherty, I won't go there. I think Doherty will definitely be too old by that stage. 30-year-old running halfback. Nah, I'm good, thanks. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I really won't get anybody from Carlton. They've got the problem with Carlton is that they have so many good role players now. They don't need any one particular person to shine. They're all just sharing the points. It used to be all too top heavy, but now they're playing like a genuine team. They're sharing the load now. Can you check Newman's score? Absolutely, I can check Newman's score. Let's have a look. Nick Newman. 140k. That's huge. It's almost 600,000, bro. What the hell? 500 of 119, 300 of 133. He is absolutely flying here. He's had some the occasional bad game. A 61, a 28, and a 59. So he's had some pretty bad games. See, when did they turn it around? They lost to Essendon just before Gold Coast. So he's come in here, and in this streak of victories, he's gone really impressive. That's so ever since he's come back, and the streak has started at 121 plus 59 plus 114 plus 106 plus 92 plus 7 plus 144 plus 118 divided by 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Average 111 over the course of this winning streak. Very impressive. Very impressive. Start with the Swans. That's when it was an injury game. Okay. Let's see. Where was that? 28. 28. 47% tog. Yep, that was that tells me it was an injury. I agree with you, Tone. So back pocket. He's been getting some kick-ins. Obviously not a lot. He's been having some good time on ground. He's been taking a lot of marks. That's definitely bolstered his score. Disposal efficiency has been quite good as well. Very good. And he's a kicker. I like this. I do like this. I like what I see. And that's a good heat map. That's a good heat map. This was an injury game. But before he got injured, mostly on a wing. I can see why he got injured. He broke his. He had his heart broken playing out of position. I'm not too fond of that map either. How is that halfback flank, bro? That is freaking center bounce inside mid. What are you talking about, halfback flank? West Coast. That's okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good too. I don't mind this map either. That's really nice. I like this one a lot. This is nice. He's just patrolling the back line. I like that. Seems to be getting a lot more confidence. Was that a PB game? Was that a 13 marks? 35 disposals. That was his career best game. I like that. And then what happened last week? That's not a great heat map either. A lot of wing. It's a very high. Is this indicative of the way Carlton are playing now? Is Carlton just playing a really high pressing defense, which is seeing their defenders get the ball a lot back there? Where's Wiedering getting his ball? Comes to Wiedering. Where's Wiedering getting his ball? See, he's got the ball quite a bit up the ground as well. Nah, that's mostly in defense. All in defense. All right, so they are playing mostly in defense. So you can see. So Wiedering is the stay-at-home guy. And Newman's been given a lot more license to roam up the ground and get involved. Is Newman like a Mason Redmond type of player, but slightly better with the output? I'll have to have a look at Newman some more. That's Wiedering. Look, Nick Newman could be a shout. He's certainly getting a lot more of the pill compared to Wiedering, but Wiedering's playing lockdown. I assume Newman's being involved in more link-up play. I'm going to have to look. I'm going to have to watch footage of Nick Newman closely. But the numbers are good. The numbers are good. I'll have to find out a bit more about him. I thank you guys for asking me about him. He looks at face value, he looks all right, but I'm gonna have to check some footage, and I'll give you my final verdict later. Kerno has been solid. He has, of course. Kerno has been solid. He's gonna win another freaking Coleman medal, the bastard. So, nah, he's a freak. He's a freak. Since Doc has gone into the mid, he has dominated. Yeah. Does Doc stay in the mid? Does Doc stay in the mid? He's going to be older next year. He's now done a calf, which it's just a minor one. It was just a tight calf, admittedly. Who knows if Doc stays in the mid next year? One to keep a really close eye on. Walsh, yeah. Walsh is probably going to be good value next year, Globes. 535. He's lost 75K on his price. He's missed a lot of games. And when he plays, he's mostly pretty consistent. So I don't mind Walsh at all. I don't mind him. Don't mind him, Globes. And that's about everybody from there. Come to the Eagles and the Dockers. Look, the Dockers are interesting. The Dockers are really interesting. Hayden Young is now playing more on the ball. And it actually looks good. He's actually better as a midfielder. So it's insane. Could Hayden Young be in our teams next year? I see you see Jackson Global, but Sean Darcy's not going anywhere. Don't forget, this big scoring is without Sean Darcy. Sean Darcy is still going to stay at the team. Sean Darcy is not going anywhere. Hayden Young is playing on the ball, and it's actually really good. And I hope he doesn't keep scoring well, because I love him at this price. This move onto the ball has raised his average. And it's looking really good. And he's done it against good opposition. Against Brisbane. So, I am tempted. I am tempted with Hayden Young next year. Geelong want the big sausage. Look, Geelong may want the big sausage, but look, I have it on good authority that Darcy wants to stay. He said he's going to stay. His manager said he's going to stay. And the football club have said he's going to stay. So, look, I have it on good authority that Sean Darcy is going to stay. But yes, Young is a very good footballer. I agree, Tone. He's a very good ball user. So, Hayden Young could genuinely be a sneaky option to start next year. Not even joking. No cap, no sauce, no smoke, whatever you guys want to say. Caleb Sarong has had a very good showing this year. I just don't want him to keep going up in price. I want him to sort of drop a little bit. Would do me a massive favor. As will Brayshaw. He's already over 600,000. I'd love for him to drop. I would love for him to drop so that he can be cheaper next year. I'm not sure I start him if he's too expensive. I guess that means someone like a Ryan, like a Luke Ryan, could be an interesting selection now that what's his face is out. Hayden Young's playing more midfield. Luke Ryan, 83 in 101 point smashing is actually pretty good. How old is Luke Ryan going to be next year? 27. So he'll be 28 next year. That's not bad. That works. Luke Ryan could be a good shot. Could be a good shout next year with Hayden Young out of that back line. So another one to keep an eye on with his preseason. See if he gets injured or not. Over on the West Coast Eagles side, not really much. I'm not going to touch anyone from West Coast next year, apart from maybe their rookies. All right. No to Stewart for me. It might be no Stewart, Globes. It might genuinely be no Stewart. I know it could be crazy, but could be no to Stewart. Only time will tell. What's Stewart priced at right now? 612. Oh, 612. He's like 85 or something, isn't he? 30. Oh, it's a bit old. He's getting a bit old, isn't he? He's getting a bit old. I don't like that. Witherden. Look, pretty sure Witherden has had quite a few injuries, hasn't he? This year? How many games has Witherden missed with injury? He's missed round 4. Oh, that's it. He's only missed round 4. That's not too bad. But I refuse to believe that the existence of Shannon Hearn is the reason why he scores 48 points, 63 points, 80 points, 57 points. Old man Hearn has missed a lot of games. Got badly concussed. Look, he's someone to keep an eye on. But Alex Witherden. $24, $25 next year. Good age. Good age. I'm not going to rule him out. But I don't think he's very high on my radar, just to be honest. You come to the Hawks and the Dogs. I think English might be hard to go past. But I'm not spending over $700,000 for any bastard on my team. So English is. I'm not going to start English. Get stuffed. I like what Rowan Marshall has done the last few weeks. So I'm happy to go with Rowan Marshall again. And if Grundy moves, then if Grundy goes to Port, then it's looking really good. If Grundy goes to Port, then I might even go. It might be Grundy and Rowan Marshall. I don't know. I'm not going to spend that much money on English. I'll just wait for him to drop. He's bound to drop in price. Do I start Bont next year? I think so. Why not start the big Marcus? How old will Marcus be next year? Marcus Bontempelli. He'll be 28 years old, prime of his life, prime of his career. Can't wait for Bont to turn 30 and you pass. Look, mate, I'll pass, bro. I'll pass as much as I need to. I want players in the fountain of their youth, mate. I want players in peak, pristine performance. None of this injury-riddled shit, Globes. You should know me by now, but look, there's still some time. There's still time. If I'm still around doing this Supercoach on YouTube, then, mate, I won't forget you. That's for sure. Mate, my first year, and we're already talking about Bont turning 30. Yeah, Bont's in the team. I like Ed Richards. I really do like Ed Richards, but it just depends what they do with Bailey Dale. As long as this guy's playing backline, it always jeopardizes Ed Richards' potential. McRae is going to be so cheap. But the problem is I don't think he gets back inside mid. I think he's condemned to play on a wing unless and until Bevo is sacked. Yeah. Meanwhile, for the Hawks, Gee, Warple's done really good, as has John Newcomb. Look, I might even start John Newcomb next year, to be honest. He is that good. I might start John Newcomb next year. Will Day could be someone we start next year. If he's got DPP, then it's going to be hard to go past Will Day, I think. He's going to be great for us with that flexibility early. Sicily, a 96. This is actually really good. I don't want Sicily to pop off this year for the rest of the year, these last 2 games. I want Sicily to really just calm the farm. Calm the farm, sick dog. I don't want you, bro, to go crazy. Just keep dropping in price for me. 114 break even. Just keep going down, please. Go down a bit more. I want you to be cheaper for me to start next year. I'd be very happy with that. We'll all have to start McRae next year as a forward. That we will. That we probably will. Globes, you're right. Who else is there? Yeah, those are the only 2 people I would consider, or 3 people I would consider from the Hawks: Newcomb, Day, and Sicily. We get to the Saints and the Tigers. Tim Taranto will be mid only, which makes his appeal a lot less as a result. I hope we get a better Taranto. He's better than what he's shown the last few weeks, but I don't know. He might not be selected. It just depends on the price, I guess. What's his price currently right now, Timmy T? 21. Oh, that's a good price. He's sub 500k right now. He's sub 500k, and for the year, what's he averaged? 109. Compare that to the mids. Average. It's not that great. Ranked 17th. But you're not paying much for him. He's sub 500k. It's tough. So tough to select him. Tigers don't have appealing Supercoach players anymore. You might be right, Tone. You genuinely might be right. Shai Bolton should probably still have forward status, I think, next year. He's probably the one, if there is one. Could be Shai Bolton. Because Shai Bolton hasn't been too bad. He gained mid status. He's got a 95 average for the year. His ceiling is very nice. The problem is his floor is shit. Does he get better consistency over the off season? Look, I don't think so. I mean, how old is Shai Bolton now? 24. He'll be 25 next year. If he hasn't raised his floor by then, he's never going to raise it. So, probably might avoid Short if he plays back. Look, Jaden Short has historically been a really good defender option for a lot of players. 28 next year. That works. It just depends if he has that role, as you mentioned. If he keeps playing in that half back, then he could do okay. How old is how much? What does Short cost? 480. So it's up 500k, which is not too bad. Oh, he's missed a lot of games though to injury, and that's not what I want. I don't want injury-prone players. He's missed rounds 3, 4, 5. And then between 16 and 21. There you go. Tone's picked it up as well. Short to injury-prone. Yeah, so I don't know. Probably won't go any Richmond players next year. Meanwhile, for the Saints, I've mentioned Rowe, Roma, Rowan Marshall. He's looked good the last few weeks. He's certainly redeemed himself in my eyes. Absolutely. So, might start Rowan Marshall next year. I mean, Marshall's price, 592. He's certainly jacked up his price after these last 2 weeks, that's for sure. But you look at his scoring in what has been a fairly shit season. How many shit scores has he given us? 1? That's a semi-shit score? He's only given us 1 truly shit score for the year. We've been harsh critics of him. We have been harsh critics of him. We have been. Let's be real. We've been tough on Roman, on the big Rowan. And that's probably because English exists. Look, I don't know. I'm willing to forgive. Willing to forgive. I am. Marshall and Sinclair from Saints Only. Global mentions him. Mitchy Owens, mate. Give him the rising star. I agree. I love the look of Mitchy Owens. He's a gun, Mitchy Owens. He is so good at such a young age. But yeah, Sinclair doing good things. Look, Nazaya could be a shifty shout for next year. Nazaya. After I traded him out and he became good. 190k. You bastard. I knew you would do this. I knew you would do this, you son of a flog. That's why I gave it to you. That's why I picked you. 94, 5 round, 95, 3 round. That's not bad. Look at that. That's pretty consistent. Sprinkled with some shit. Nah, I won't go. Won't go Nazai. How was Owens gone? Cheeto. Pretty cheap. 373. Not too bad. Look, the scoring isn't sensational. Obviously, he plays a pretty tough role. Tough role. It's a tough role to play at half forward for Mitch Owens. As much as I love him, I'm not going to pick him, mate. As much as I love him, I agree with you, Tone. Marshall and Sinclair alone from here. Son of a fuck. Mate, I can't. You can't swear on YouTube, bro. You can't swear on YouTube. It's what came to my mind. Okay, it's what came to my mind. I got a weird mind. You can probably tell by now. But yeah, I agree. Marshall and Sinclair from Saints Only, and probably no one from Richmond. So it is what it is. We then come to Port and the Giants. Gee, Tom Green, thank you. Yes, please. Yes, please. Can I have some more? Yes, please. I want Tom Green on my team. Himmelberg. Look, he's not going to have forward status. That's the problem. He's just playing purely in defense. So probably won't be him. I love King Toby. I just love King Toby, honestly. How old is Toby going to be next year? King Toby. The world is his oyster. Oh, no! He's going to be 30! Toby's almost retiring. No! I love this dude. He is such a gun. Yeah, nah, no cogs. Piss off. Never again. Yeah, not really much else. Yeah, nah. Meanwhile, Butters, I think, will be mid-only, which makes it hard. Rosie will probably be mid-only. I really hope these guys have forward status. If they do, I'm starting both of them, for sure, without the shadow of a doubt. Dan Houston has... Look, he's had a really good year. He just has the occasional shit one, though. That's the problem. Toby the Beast. That he is, Jen. Toby's a sexy beast. Dan Houston's had a really good year. I actually have him in All-Australian contention, Dan Houston, the way he's played out this season. The only problem, though, is that he's still prone to the occasional burn, and you might need aloe vera every now and again. What is this? What is this? Come on, bruv. So maybe Houston, if the price is right. Won't go Wines. He's too inconsistent. Horn Francis, probably won't go him because he's definitely going to be mid only. Yeah, nah, nobody else. Nobody else from Port Adelaide I'd go for. Nobody else. That was all the games. There we go. We've gone through all the teams. Which players I'd consider for next year and which ones I won't. So if you guys have just arrived, if anyone has just arrived, I'm very sorry. You can go back after this is over and scroll through and have a look at which ones, at all of the players that I'm considering for next year. We've gone team by team, so feel free to have a look. I will tell you guys my tips for this week. My tips are going to be Collingwood. I'm going to tip Richmond, Carlton, the Giants, the Saints, Adelaide, Doggies, Melbourne, Port. That was fun, my man. I'm glad you had fun, Globes. It really, I enjoyed it too. Very chill, nice, 1.5 hour stream, just simply talking about some potential players. Very chill, very nice. I certainly had a lot of fun. I'm glad you had some fun as well. I think we'll call it a night now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you had fun like Globes and I, please leave us a like on the screen on the stream. It would greatly help the algorithm. Please leave us a subscribe. Again, will help us out on the algorithm. We have a lot planned still to come. Many more videos. There will be AFLW Fantasy. There are a couple of videos where we're going to be doing some more teams out of the cards. We opened up some cards, so we'll be making some teams out of those. So please have a look at that as well. Soon to come. Sub to Fancast. And yeah, so much this. I know Supercoach is basically done. We're all looking forward to next year. We'll make some videos about next year as well. So yeah, look, I know the Supercoach season might be done, but we're looking forward to still talking to you guys and seeing you guys as much as possible during the year. And yeah, thank you, Tone. Thank you very much. Much love. Hope you have a lovely week as well. I always tip the team that Carlton plays. Your second favorite team is whoever's playing against Carlton. I love it. That's funny, Jen. Thanks, Globes. Thanks, Jen. Go to the Boomers and the Tillies, mate. Go on to the semis. Very awesome. Much love to you all. Would not be doing this still at this point of the season if it wasn't for you guys. Believe me. If not for you guys' regular engagement, I would have dropped this a few weeks ago because I know when my season was done. So truly a lot of love for all of you guys. And we'll see you on Thursday for the live reaction to the team sheets. Good night, all.